Good morning, everyone. So it's 28th of November, and it's a rainy, cool day here in Les Sables d'Olonne. We've got the whole fleet on one screen right now, so quite interesting. And we've got a split of around about 3,500 miles, probably 3,600 miles in the fleet, which is unheard of and a little bit extraordinary, kind of interesting. And even here, if you look at this, here's a beautiful high forming here in the Southern Ocean, and the centre of this high is at about 43 degrees south latitude. And that's usually they're a little bit higher than that, and you're hooking up these westerlies down the bottom, way up here in the roaring 40s, all along this area here. But you can see it's playing games with the fleet. Certainly, the weather in the South Atlantic still not favourable for Guy and Arnaud. But if we just roll this through very quickly, you can see what's going to happen to this high here. It's just going to roll right along, still below 40 degrees south, and then it's distorting, and you've got some funny stuff happening above it. Quite interesting. Very not unstable, but quite contrary to the usual theory of strong westerly winds. This is the roaring 40s and then the furious 50s down here, and then it goes down into the screaming 60s. But it's not quite playing the game. No complaints, but it's just difficult, certainly for the guys behind here. They've fallen into the hole, as we suggested yesterday. Arnaud's only doing 1.1 knots, and Guy's not doing much better, and in fact exactly the same, 1.1 knots. It's kind of sad he didn't try to keep going south, but that's the challenges ahead. And in terms of distance from Cape Town, around about what do we got? We got over about 11, just over 1,000 miles. So in a good week, the boats can do about 1,000 miles a week. So he's still going to be right into December before he gets to Cape Town, and that's assuming he's making 120 mile days, 130 mile days, and it's looked like that's not going to happen anytime soon. So it's hard to predict the time that they'll actually get there. If we just toggle this through now, you can see what's going to happen. Guy will start to pick up a bit of breeze. This is midnight tonight. He's got some breeze get going. Arnaud will just start heading in the right direction. And then it's still a bit fluffy if Guy's heading in an easterly direction. Nothing like getting sort of constant 5-knot winds, and then all of a sudden it is light, but it's on the nose again because of the distortion of the high. So this is coming through into the 30th, 2 days ahead, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you can see a couple of days ahead he might be in this area here, but it's still going to be very frustrating. And for Arnaud, same again. If he's coming across, it'll be light headwinds. So the next couple of days are going to be frustrating still. Anyway, moving on to Elliot. They've made ground. This wind did swing to the east, so that's helping him head south. And Ian's been doing 3.9 knots, and Elliot currently doing 5.1 knots. He's cracked off a little bit more. He hasn't passed any adverse messages about his bowsprit, so he's obviously sailing cautiously. And the weather going forward for them, if we come forward a day, very confusing. But anyway, if they should be a little bit further over this way instead of these headwinds, they may be starting to get this north easterly coming through, and that should start to come over them a bit. No, it doesn't. Okay, so they're going to have more frustration. But when they get these winds, the southerly, they'll probably crack off and head over on starboard tack and just make their way to the east. Nothing wrong with that for now, because they'll have it's a lottery with the currents, but they've got the issue of the Gulf Stream here. You can see Ian is coming into not the Gulf Stream, cheapest, the Agulhas current. Elliot crossed over that one. Ian's just coming into it, and he's going to have some head current, so you'll see his course curve a little bit, because that's probably two and a bit knots that's going to go through him there. So, and the interesting one there, if we come back to the wind, okay, wind's going the same as the current, so that's not too bad for now. Okay, so chopping this back and looking at the lead group, wrong way. There we go, one more. Boom, bring the weather back to today. And Jeremy should be having a nice sail in that lot if he's getting that breeze that's showing. Probably is 4.6 knots. Enjoying the ride. He's still holding 40 degrees south, in the Roaring Forties. So let's hope he gets a reasonable return on that investment. And Goog's down south doing 7 knots. He's happy with that. That's quite good. So and his daily run 100 miles in the last 24 hours. So not too bad. Kirsten, this one's an interesting one. Kirsten's doing now 6.8 knots, but which is flying. But prior to that, she was only doing 3.2. This westerly may have come in during the night, and she was probably being a bit cautious. I was surprised to see her going so slow in that. And now, the sun's come up, and we've got the new average that's over the last 4 hours. So that's from, this would have been early hours of the night when she was doing the 3.2, over midnight and so on. So 6.8 is pretty healthy. Abelish looked like he gained a bit during the night, but he's now heading up and making 6 knots. So they're going to be chasing each other all the way across. Simon, I thought he was going to fall in the hole, but that's interesting. Before, this is a new position. He just rolled over in the last 6 minutes. Prior to that, he was showing this light winds, but doing 5 knots or something. So that must have been a carryover as well. And certainly this system here has been moving fast. So now he's fallen into a hole, 1.1 knots. But the distance between, say, Kirsten and Simon, let's have a look to see, because I think Simon's pulled away a little bit. We got to go back. Sometimes this toggle doesn't work so well. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we got that one there. That one there. Okay, so Simon's extended away about 20 miles since yesterday morning. At least 20 miles, maybe a bit more. So he's been moving really well. Okay, so get rid of that, and let's just watch the weather moving forward. We can't quite see. Jeremy back there, but we'll go for this lot first. I'll toggle the weather through first. We'll see what's going to happen. You can see that calm area around Simon's actually moving away really fast. I think it came over the top of him pretty fast. The westerly wind for Abelish and Kirsten's turning into a southwesterly, and that sea will be building up quite a bit. In fact, the sea's probably about 5 metres there, more so than the waves. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's showing a good 5 metres there. So they've got quite a big sea, real Southern Ocean stuff. Not extreme. Hopefully it's settled. Captain Goog's got similar 4 metres, 4.5 metres. Building a bit, but it's not quite as intense as it is here. Simon's sea's dropped off a fair bit. So come back to the wind, activate that. So this is now later today, 7 o'clock UTC tonight on the 28th. The systems, they're actually moving through pretty quick. So you see Goog's now moving into a light wind, and Simon's going to get a boost again. He gets that stronger south-westerly wind, and then Abelish and Kirsten going back into lighter conditions. So this is now midday tomorrow on the 29th. So no surprises there. Captain Goog will be getting a bit frustrated. Kirsten and Abelish will be sailing reasonably well on that. They will have progressed a bit further forward, and Simon's calming down a bit for him. But it looks like there's an interesting one coming up to the top. It's going to go quiet, but Simon, if we just zoom this back, this low pressure system here is going to affect things happening for them. So let's see, it's hard to, I've got to reactivate it again. So this is on the 30th. We don't want that. Okay, this on the 1st. It's going to put a ridge, like a trough here, squashing up the center of this high, which is going to really give them some light winds. So this is on the 1st at 6:30, a couple of 2-3 days ahead. Jeremy will be enjoying a good sail here. He'll be coming down. Goog's going to go as well a little bit, but I think Kirsten and Abelish are going to sit in a bit of a hole there. So there'll be a catch-up from behind, and also it looks like a situation where Simon may sail away. At this stage, they'll be into it, and it's all happening, and they're back on. So a few days ahead, there might be some frustrations there. So I think that's everyone. Jeremy down the back there was sort of doing all right. No surprises, no big storms or anything like that, but certainly typical Southern Ocean stuff. bit of a quick one there. I will be doing the question and answers this afternoon, so keep an eye out for that. And we've hopefully got a press release we're trying to put together today, which will have Kirsten and Avalish's time compensation in it, and we'll send that to everyone who's a subscriber. So